Hey, welcome back. I think we're actually going this time. I want to welcome everyone back. This is the Hour of Power radio show. The email address is hourofpowershow@gmail.com. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you're listening. You can also find us on Facebook as the Hour of Power Show. Friend us on there so we can all watch Ridley Beer Bong Jack Daniels.
That's
Which
true.
I was on my trip and I was thinking about it. And I realized that we should probably have some sort of emergency medical technician around when you do that, because there's possibilities that if you don't throw up immediately, you might have alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, you think?
So there's a possibility we might need to take you directly to the hospital.
We just need to keep Epicac on hand.
All right, that's a great idea.
All right, let's do it. All right, so
that could be more fun than you trying to vomit right away. It's just feeding you Epicac afterwards.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. Going back to headlines that we left off from segment 1, prosecutors are deciding whether to try Bonds again. That's just going to be a long, drawn-out process. There's no point in talking about it now.
No point in talking about it. He's not going to make it to the Hall of Fame whether they find him innocent or not. He is gone. Everyone knows that he did it, whether the law says he did or not. He did it, and whatever. He's a whore. Well, I love him, but that's just because I'm a San Francisco fan.
All right, Yankees reliever Pedro Feliciano is probably done for the year with shoulder problems. Deron Williams from the Nets, he's open to a new deal, saying he actually likes the Nets and he's willing to negotiate a contract extension.
Good for the Nets.
A Georgia baseball player, I can't remember his name. I think it was something Taylor. He laid out for a ball in the outfield on March 6th and ended up paralyzing himself. And, well, they just found out today he's paralyzed from the waist down. But they said that the spinal cord is not fractured, so there's still a chance for or severed, so there's still room for improvement, and he possibly could walk again. So they're holding out hope for that.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Kansas University, we haven't talked about this on the show, but they had a big ticket scandal where basically the person in charge of the box office for Kansas basketball games was stealing tickets and giving them to students to sell, and then she would just pocket the money.
Oh,
and so she ended up getting almost 5 years in prison for that. Ted Lincecum donated $25,000 to the Ancient Giants fan from opening day. I don't know if you heard about this, but the Giants and Dodgers were facing off against each other.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy wearing Giants paraphernalia was leaving Dodger Stadium when 2 Latino men in their early 20s approached him, started talking stuff. He turned away to him. They punched him in the back of the head, and then they kicked him while he was down. He ended up suffering severe brain trauma. Part of his skull is removed right now to release the pressure in the brain, and he's in a medically induced coma. So Ted Lincecum donated $25,000 to help pay for his medical bills. So I thought that was really, really cool.
That is really nice. That was a story when I was on the cruise, and that was one of the main headlines that came up. Not many headlines come up when you're looking at world news on the crappy TV that they have in your room.
That's true.
But that was one of them that actually did, was Giants and Dodgers. The big fight happened, and the mayors had to come and say, "Oh no, it's okay, it's okay." So. Yeah, no, that was crazy. You can be a fan, but don't be a fanatic.
That's true. Well, don't be a douchebag, basically, is what it comes down to.
First
off, if you're going to get in a fight, don't punch somebody in the back of the head when they turn around from you. That's just ridiculous. If you're going to have a fight, gloves off, duke it out, mano y mano. Don't be a douche.
Exactly.
But we're not advocating violence, MLB. Don't sue us.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right. No one from there is listening to us.
Okay, so that pretty much covers the headlines, unless we want to talk about Maya Moore signing with the Minnesota Lynx. You want to talk about that?
Wow, I don't know. She's pretty hot.
Wrong. We're not talking about it. Okay, Matthew, do you want to go ahead and bring us into your NHL playoff preview?
Actually, I got a pretty good idea. Let's do the East Coast from each side. Okay. And then we'll go back and do the West Coasts from each side. So we're going to do a quick playoff preview. It's not going to be too long, but we're going to do the NBA and the NHL, since both of them are in their playoffs. And so I'm going to be, of course, in charge of the NHL. So I'm going to do the East, and Ridley will do the same with basketball. So,
All right.
All right. So in the, let's see here. Where are my matchups?
Up at the top.
Yes. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, we have 4 matchups in the East. We have the Washington Capitals at the New York Rangers. The Washington Capitals won last night in overtime. The Rangers' goaltending and defense is very good, while the goaltending of Washington has been struggling. They have young goaltenders who have been playing well, but, I mean, struggling throughout the year. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but New York has problems scoring. So their kind of weaknesses balance out a little bit. It should be a very good series. We'll probably go to 7 games. And just because of the Ovechkin factor, I'll probably go with the Rangers winning.
All right.
I think that the Rangers just have a little bit more on the rest of their team than just the one player. With Philadelphia and Buffalo, we have Philadelphia was a very, very good team all season long. Buffalo has been struggling mainly because of injury. Philadelphia played very good, and they got Pronger, even though he's out for game 1. He should be back after that. He should be just fine, and he is just a difference maker. So Philadelphia will probably win that one, but Ryan Miller's going to hold it close in goal for Buffalo, so that's also going to probably go to 6 games. We have Boston at the Montreal Canadiens. This is an original 6 matchup. The Boston Bruins were the higher seed. The Montreal Canadiens struggled during the year, but I mean they made it into the playoffs, so I mean they did a good enough job to make it there. But I think Boston is doing really good. Tim Thomas is just a great story. It was a guy who was a contender for the Vezina last year. Boston wanted to trade him this year because they didn't want his money. They didn't want him on the team. They didn't think he was good enough. They wanted to bring someone else in. And now he's led them back to number 2 seed, I believe, in the playoffs again. So, our 3 seed. The last one is we have a Sidney Crosby-less Pittsburgh Penguins against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Pittsburgh has been playing without Tampa Bay Lightning many times. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Pittsburgh Penguins have been playing without Sidney Crosby most of the season. He's been out with a concussion, so they're used to playing without him. So they should be okay. They'll probably make it past Tampa Bay pretty soundly, and they'll make it past in 5, maybe a 6 game if Tampa Bay gets lucky.
Is Noel chatting? Because he has a bunch of stuff showing up on Facebook saying, "Did I do it right?"
No. Bobby's chatting.
It is the computer.
Hi, Bobby.
I sent about 3 messages, but live at http://ustre.am/SXA7. So all this stuff's feeding to Facebook. No, Noel, you're not doing it right. Oopsie. All right, moving on.
All right, now we're going to do the Eastern Conference of the NBA.
All right, so in our 1 versus 8 series, we've got the Chicago Bulls going against the Pacers. This one's not even going to be close. Derrick Rose is just going to make mincemeat out of the Pacers' defense. Look for him to have some huge games. Danny Granger for the Pacers will probably have to put up a bunch of points. Tyler Hansbrough probably won't do much against the inner defense of the Bulls. Look for this one to go no longer than 5 games. In our 2 versus 7, we've got the Heat going up against the 76ers. 76ers started off 3-13 this year. They rebounded to be over 500 in playoff team. They're going up against, obviously, Miami Thrice, whatever nickname you want to call them. And
the Heatles.
Yeah, exactly. 76ers just don't have the talent to put up with them. They've got a much improved Drew Holiday, but Andre Iguodala is still suffering from an injury. He's not able to guard Dwayne Wade like he should, and there's just too much talent on the Heat team. Expect them to win in also about 5 games. Next up, we've got Atlanta Orlando in our 5-4 matchup. Atlanta's got a ton of athleticism, but they really don't have like that guy that can take over games. They're paying Joe Johnson like that guy that should be able to take over games, but he never can seem to come into the clutch. Josh Smith is hit or miss. Jamal Crawford's a great sixth man, and Al Horford's also a great player. They've also got, the guy turned the Dwight stopper. I think it's Jamal Crawford, but it may be somebody else. But, they say that they can stop Dwight Howard, who's probably going to end up being second in the MVP voting. But they just don't have enough. I expect the Magic to win this one in 6. Next up, we've got a fun series that, everybody's going to be looking forward to because it's New York versus Boston. Oh. We got the Knicks at the Celtics. This is a 3-6 matchup. Boston's injured right now. Ever since they traded Kendrick Perkins, they've lost a lot of their toughness and their strength and side on defense. Carmelo Amari can score, so the question becomes: can Boston become tough enough to win a best-of-7 series, or are they too old and are they too soft at this point? Will Rajon Rondo fold up? Will Garnett's knees hold out? Will Paul Pierce be able to come through in the clutch again? This one, I wouldn't be surprised to see in 7, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Boston in 7 on this one.
All right. Well, yeah, because it wouldn't be a sports series if it wasn't New York versus Boston, because apparently that's the only 2 places in this world that matter.
That's right.
All right. We're going to break for a quick, quote-unquote, commercial, but basically we're just saving the file so that we can put it onto YouTube later. Which, have we even been doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've even been doing that. Maybe people watch it there. Who knows? Probably not. But, okay, we'll be right back. Thanks.